And welcome back to Great Taste of Manitoba. We have recovered from the taco malfunction. Actually, I think last season there was a burrito malfunction. This year's anyway, we're moving on as we do in the kitchen, and we are doing stuffed Caprese meatballs with charred tomatoes.
Yes.
And we get to stuff them with cheese, which is never a bad thing. So let's get going on that.
Sure.
And I'll try and make sure that this doesn't burn. All right?
Sounds excellent.
All right, because the cheese is active.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so we're starting off with some lean ground pork. So pork that's labeled lean is basically as lean as any other ground meat. CFIA has ground meat standards for labeling when it comes to that. So because we're grilling too, you want to make sure that you're using a lean ground pork rather than the medium. Just helps reduce flare-ups and whatnot.
I see, but pork, again, so versatile. I think we forget that, so this is great.
So yeah, we're gonna add some Italian seasoned breadcrumbs, some salt and pepper, a little bit of milk, and another secret, well not really secret, but essential for a Caprese recipe is some basil, and we're using a basil pesto here.
Some pesto, yeah.
So I am just going to mix this up.
And you can't over-mix this. Now you're using the gloves because...
I am, just because, it's messy and I don't really have time to go and wash my hands during this.
But if you have time, use your hands.
Absolutely,
Way
absolutely.
more fun, get
wash
the family
your hands.
involved. This is kind of party food, like it's elevated party food.
Yeah.
So...
And you want to mix just until combined. You don't want to overmix, otherwise you end up...
oh, you don't want to overmix?
No, don't overmix. You just want to combine because otherwise you get a really dense meatball.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
That goes for any meatballs. So I'm just going to move these over to the sides. We've got some here that's already mixed up for us because you want to let it sit for 10-15 minutes just so those flavors can combine. And
this looks complicated, but I know you'll make it look easy.
It's not.
So that's what you do.
We're gonna do like about a 1.5-inch meatball. What I usually do is I'll portion them out. You should get about 16 to 18 meatballs out of this recipe. And portion out the pork first, and then just to make sure all your meatballs are going to be the same size.
Right. Okay.
Do you want to just hand me a mozzarella
I would be
slicer?
delighted to.
I don't want to stick my dirty hands in there.
Okay.
Excellent.
Just pop it in the lid.
So we've cut our mozzarella cheese into just like about 1 centimeter little blocks, and a nice little trick is to freeze the cheese so that when you put your meatballs on the grill, that the cheese takes time to warm up and it's not just oozing out like
it's all these little things that make a difference, right?
Yeah, and then you would just roll them up like so, and and just keep doing that until you get your 18 or so meatballs.
And this is what they look like as they get going. Now you don't want to flip them too soon because then what ends up happening is the cheese runs out, right, or something to that effect.
Well, actually, the meatballs or any meat really, if you flip it too soon, will actually stick to the grill.
Okay.
So you don't want to do that. So these meatballs take about 10 minutes to cook on the grill. You want to make sure you're watching, turning them often, right? So that there's a nice char on each side. And also note we're using separate tongs for the meat and the tomatoes that we're going to char as well.
I'm very eager to get these tomatoes going. I've never actually done this before. So you just take these and you just plop them right on as
so I've tossed them in a little bit of olive oil. Okay. Normally we use canola oil for everything, but olive oil, since it's an Italian themed recipe, adds a little bit of a different flavor. And we're just going to basically char them just so that they're blistering.
Okay.
We've also seasoned them with a little bit of salt and pepper.
Yeah, they look perfect. Like you could just eat them like this already.
Yeah, you could. Now the other thing with ground meat, you want to make sure that you're cooking it to well done, so 160 degrees Fahrenheit always, just like any other ground meat. And as I said earlier, the best thing, or one of the best things about this recipe is that you can serve it as an appetizer or as an entree. So it really elevates, I guess, your standard sort of spaghetti and meatball type recipe. Just the char and the grill flavor adds a new dimension to the recipe. So.
And of course, what's really neat is that we have ready-made noodles. Now, these are not noodles that are made with a machine. These are handmade noodles, locally made, Winkler, Manitoba, a fantastic product that you can get pretty much anywhere in Winnipeg and in Manitoba. And so it's, again, really awesome. A local product that tastes great, and you're supporting local, and it feels right. So that's kind of what it ends up looking like at the end of the day.
For the entree. Now,
Okay.
if you wanted to do it as an appetizer, you just take one of your, just a little bamboo skewer or something like that, pop on a cherry tomato, nice basil leaf, fresh basil.
Fancy schmancy.
And a meatball, and away you go.
And away you go.
And it's just beautiful. The colors are beautiful. Tastes
Fantastic.
beautiful.
Okay, so some party food there now. International flavor tour, we continue. We're going to go someplace warm. It involves pineapple. Stay right there. We're going to be right back. Great Taste of Manitoba.
You're watching Great Tastes of Manitoba, brought to you in part by GreatTastesMB.ca. Local farms, local foods.